I'm resident in Vegas, and I got my usual monthly residencies like here in Orange County, San Francisco, San Diego, Scottsdale, Salt Lake City, Vancouver. Pretty much West Coast a lot, always have been. It was like my 7th grade dance. I went into the dance and just saw the speakers and the forehead helicopter going around, and I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And so I went home with my friends. I said, that's what I want to do. And we just started doing it. We were horrible for years, but kind of no one taught me. Just kind of got the hang of it through trial and error. And once I graduated high school, I didn't want a real job. So I said, I better get serious about this. Yeah, like 2 random belt drive turntables bought at a garage sale for $1 probably. And trying to put 2 records together. I say I'm big into what's next. I kind of like to move forward and always, be curious about what the next, thing is. And when the first CD players came out, I saw it was definitely easier to carry around CDs than it was vinyl. So it was a hard transition. I think what made me transition first is I got robbed. I had everything in my garage, and someone stole all my vinyl, my turntables, everything. So I think I went and got a loan and went to a warehouse and bought a whole bunch of CDs just to get by. And I think that kind of kick-started me into going CD. The first den that first came out was the first like DJ. It was just play and pitch. That was it. So I mean that was good for doing mobiles. It was lightweight and could carry it around. But after a while, I had that urge to kind of do more, than just play and pitch. The one thing I liked about the CJ1000 is it reminded me of a 1200. Like, you could never have used it in your life, walk up to it, look at it, and know exactly how it works. And I think that's the one thing that's been so good, and so everyone requests that all the time, because even if you don't know how it works, it's very easy to figure out. I've had friends who played vinyl their whole life, and I'll throw a CJ in front of them like, oh, I'm not sure. Like, just give it a minute, give it a feel. I remember I was in Vegas before I moved there, and DJ Hollywood was playing at the drink, and I'm watching him scratching up there and stuff. And I walked up there, I saw a CD player. I'm like, oh, what the hell? Like, I didn't know you could actually scratch on that good. And once I think I got my first pair right after that, and just realized it was just as good, if not better. 800's my mixer. I love it. And just like the CD player, I can use this with my eyes closed. I mean, as you'll see tonight when I'm playing, I use the effects the whole time. I use everything, and without even looking, I know where the EQ's at, I know everything's at. So I'm one of those people where I'm playing, I'm very animated, and I'm not one of those guys who has their head down the whole time. I like to keep my focus outward. So if I can run everything and know where it's at without having to look, it makes my job easier. I love the screen. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is there's no way to have dead air at all. So if I'm on Serato, my laptop crashes, there's CD in there. I can have a key in there the whole time. Plus, a lot of times I have friends come and they'll have tracks on their key, and I can throw it in really quick, load up and play it right there. So I think that's huge. I'll definitely be using that a lot. I'll say this, like, I haven't been wanting to go back to CD because I've been so used to Serato, and I love the loops and the hot cues, and I love to be able to see everything. I'm kind of, after 24 years, my hearing isn't what it used to be, so I really love seeing everything and where it's at. So this is definitely going to make me want to go back to playing CDs. Or if I have an hour or 2 hour set, I'll put a bunch of tracks on a flash drive, put it in, and be able to actually pull up by key or BPM or genre, put into the tag list, and definitely see where it's at. And if I know there's like, one thing I do in Serato now, there's a part of the song I don't like, I'll go around it. If I can see in this exactly where it's at, where it's coming from. So I'm very, very visual versus hearing it too. So I think that's a huge help. I think what's good about it is I'm not just saying this because you guys are here. You've introduced things very slowly versus one thing Ed did, and I don't want to badmouth anybody, but I hate it, is all of a sudden they threw like a million buttons on this thing and a million things it does. And I don't have to learn all that at once. I know what I know and how to use it. And then, went from the 600 to this, I was afraid of the extra effects, like, well, wow. And it, after a few times playing with it, then you get it. It's not too much to have to learn. So I really like how each time it's introducing more and more and more and just keeping up there with, The one thing that is horrible is I think hip hop ruined the club scene when everybody was rich and buying bottles and they're spraying champagne, and now all of a sudden electro and house is, I think, more popular now than it ever has been, and income's down. So of course the club numbers aren't up what they used to be, but if our economy was the same the club industry right now would be at its all-time high. Because I mean, the music's totally changed. The vibe of the club's totally changed. I remember back in the day when it was hip hop, or originally it was like house in the main room, hip hop in the little room, and then in Vegas, hip hop took over the main room, and you'd be lucky if you had a house room. Now it's electro is the mainstream room, and you still have a house room or a hip hop room. But I mean, I just love the way the music's gone, and people are buying bottles and going out and seeing house DJs now. So it's definitely crossed over a lot, and it's helped us out. I'm born in clubs. I was in radio for a while, and I just can't sit in a room. I can't sit by myself. I have to be out. I'm just a very in the action. So it's hard for me. I'm actually just getting into producing now, and it's hard to find time, and it's hard to say take a night where I'm going to sit in front of the computer for 8 hours. To me, that's hard. If I can produce while I'm at the club while I'm playing, it'd probably help me out a lot. But I'm more in the crowd kind of guy. Orange County is probably one of my favorites. San Diego, Vancouver, Chicago, Miami, Vegas.